Do you guys think Burt Lynch died? I'm just saying, I don't know.
What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
The house that I've been working on all these late nights and doing all this shit, the house is done. So this should be the last show that we're starting super late. I got off a little bit earlier today, but I went in way fucking early. I just been tired of shit. Mariah brought a screaming child to bed at 8 a.m. this morning. At 8 a.m. this morning. Climbed in bed, with a screaming fucking child after I've been putting in like 60-hour weeks, sleeping like 2 hours a night.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everybody. I'm Will Bird. This is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. Sorry, I was on the big camera. MAGA. MAGA. What else can you say, MAGA? We did finish the house. I only got I was talking about it with my boss today. I was like, we should have took before and after pictures. But it was, it's too late. And I probably would have taken before and after pictures, had I like I didn't start on the job. What happened was there was another person like doing most of the work. And then my boss and some ladies from the office were going to do some cleaning and stuff. And it just got so far behind and the date got pushed up. So they just like came and got me while I was doing my own thing. Or I probably would have had pictures, but it didn't work out like that. But I did get one picture of the steps. So these are the steps that I've been complaining about and working on the whole time. There is some pretty bad color discrepancy from the edges to the center, but we weren't really worried about it. It'd be almost impossible to match unless you were just going to refinish the whole thing. But these steps this is like carpet runners on these steps. They had like these ugly ass green ones with like, it almost looked like they had like grapevines and shit on, like it had like a landscape on it. And it looked like shit. And they were like falling apart. And you know how carpet traps like dust and dirt? Well, we live beside the river. So it's all sand. It was nasty. They were falling apart and shit. But the problem was the glue underneath this. So literally for days I've been working on this. Here's from the other side of these steps. I did all this painting of the gray. I don't think I did any painting of white, but I did all the gray painting, and got all the glue off the steps, put new runners on them and sealed them back up. But this was where I was trying to get the fucking glue off of it. What I ended up getting was, I know somebody said Goo Gone the other day. I don't like Goo Gone. It leaves a really, really, really bad residue. It's natural. It's probably better for you. It won't cause cancer, but I probably already got cancer coming my way. I used to have to climb inside hydraulic tanks and clean them from the inside, which is like the most cancer-causing agent in the world, which is non-flammable hydraulic fluid substitute. So I probably already got cancerous. So what I ended up with was something called Goof Off, which I thought was probably the same stuff. Goo Gone is like non-toxic. It's made from citrus oil. It's probably really good if you have to use it around kids. You got stickers or whatever. But I don't think it's strong enough, and probably because it's all natural. And I don't like the residue it leaves. Like if you need to glue something back, it leaves like an oil that's really hard to get up. But this was Goof Off, which is, I guess, acetone based maybe. It smelled a lot like naphtha or something, but it brought it off. I did it a couple times. And we put it up. I think I wiped them all down. Then I sealed them with polyacrylic, like polyurethane acrylic, like sealed it up. Even if it didn't feel sticky, but even if it was sticky, I sealed it under a clear coat basically, and then threw these new runners on. I think it looks pretty good. Looks all right. So they got all new. So everything got painted. Everything got fixed up. I had to balance some ceiling fans. I had to rewire some stuff. Another guy changed out all the outlets and switches. Cleaned up the bathroom. I had to put all the drawers back on. All the hardware had come off the drawers, like the drawer slides in the kitchen. Had to put all that back together. We didn't really do much with the floor. And this cabin was built like, This cabin was built like 25 years ago, and then the people had stayed in it had stayed like 23 years. Had stayed there like 23 years. So they had been basically the only residents. And you know how like you don't realize how dirty some shit is until like you go to move and you realize how like grimy some shit, or like move the stove and shit. That was kind of them. I don't think they're like dirty people, but when you live in a house for 20 plus years, you accumulate like shit. I deck washed the porch with just like some crazy fucking bleach shit. Like it was super strong bleach. I'm trying to think of what else got done. Balancing the ceiling fans was a trip. I don't know. I've never had a ceiling fan be more than like 5 or 6 ounces out of balance. Usually when you get kits, they come with like a 5 ounce weight and a 3 ounce weight or whatever. I don't know what happened. I think maybe these ceiling fans were like at one point, maybe they're installed somewhere else and they like mixed up the blades on them or shit, because it should have been balanced from the factory. One ceiling fan I used over 40 fucking grams, almost 50 grams of weight to balance it back out. The other one had like 38 grams of weight, which is insane. But the way the ceiling fans were running, well, I ended up having to use nickels. We ran out of weights, so I ended up having to use nickels. But nickels are exactly 5 grams, in case you didn't know. But yeah, when these ceiling fans turned on before they were balanced, they looked terrifying. It looked like it was going to fucking fall off and murder a child. Like it was just like a fucking heavy wobble. And they thought it was the mount. They thought it was the rods because they're like down on extension rods to like come down on the ceiling. I wish I had pictures of the top. The top is like it's like a cathedral ceiling with beams that run across it. It's a nice place. It's got 1 bedroom, downstairs, bathroom, kitchen, living room, dining room together. And then upstairs, it's just 1 big bedroom and 1 big closet. But the people who lived there and before put up like dividers. They put up dividers for the they put up a divider in the upstairs, the big bedroom, and made it 2 bedrooms, I guess. And then they had 1 downstairs bedroom. But the upstairs bedroom is basically the whole length of the house with a little closet on the end, well, a walk-in closet on the end. And then the downstairs bedroom is bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, all on one side. So the upstairs bedroom is 3 times the size, I guess. Goof Off, it did really good. It's obviously chemical based, and it has all these warnings about like turning off your fucking water heater and shit. There's a lot of shit to do, but yeah. But no ignition sources. Like it was pretty fucking strong, but it worked out. So there you go. That should stop the fucking late starts to the show. I should be able to get in here nice and early. Actually, my boss is like, just take some days off, because I was like, well, there's still a couple things that need to be done outside, but the big push was the inside, because the person's starting moving on Saturday. And I was still some stuff on the outside. And I was like, well, I can do something tomorrow or maybe this weekend to fix it's like a crawl space area I need to build a frame and a door for, so it's not like open right now, or the old door's like rotting off. And she's like, no, just leave. Just go somewhere else. You've been here too much. I was at the kitchen counter after work, and like I was texting Mariah for a minute, and I was petting the cat, and I just laid my head down on the kitchen counter and fell the fuck asleep. Standing up, leaning on the kitchen counter, fell the fuck asleep. So yeah. Yeah, it was I've been pretty wore out. Last night I went to bed at like probably 4, and then I laid down at like 4. I don't know when I fell asleep. It always takes me a while to like wind down. But I I went to bed about 4 a.m. and then Mariah has been watching my nephews. Do you remember the preemie baby, Jesse? Mariah's been watching Jesse, and at 8 a.m. this morning, when she gets back from taking the kids to school, she tries to climb in bed with this baby, and it is fucking screaming bloody murder. It is screaming so fucking loud. Then I just get up. I'm like, fuck it. The baby's goddamn screaming. Whatever. I'll sleep when I'm dead, I guess. Go, get in the shower, take a shower, shave my head, start getting ready, putting clothes on. I'm just going to go on into work. And then she texts me. She's like, he's done screaming now, you could come back to bed. But I can't, like, once I get up, especially like if I get up and like see the sunlight and shit, I'm done. Like I can't just go back to sleep. I got to be up for at least a few hours. I probably could have took a nap, but oh well. We got shit to do and people to shit on, like these Trump supporters over here. So this is probably the shittiest post that I've seen in a while, and they know exactly what they're doing. But here you go. So if you don't know, Tim Walz has a nonverbal. I'm assuming autistic, but they just, when you look up the reports, it says nonverbal learning disorder, and he cried during his dad's speech, right? And there's a picture. I mean, like, if there was any time to cry, it could be this, right? So Salty Goat, or a bunch of MAGA accounts, this is just the first one I stumbled upon. Salty Goat says Gus Walz and Barron, same age, raised by different types of men. By the way, they're not the same age. He's still 17. He's not even an adult yet, federally, by the federal government standard. It says one promotes tampons for boys, one, well, does not. Whose dad would you prefer in the White House? And again, so he's nonverbal autistic, right? Like, is this what we're doing now? Is this what, like, I'll admit it. Someone thought they called me out on Twitter. I use the word retard all the time. You know, there's a difference between me using the word retard and finding somebody with a learning disability and calling them a retard, right? Like, I call full functioning adults retards, but I'm not going to go call someone's kid or someone with a learning disability. You know what I'm saying? Which there is some hope. There were some people we'll read the comments. There were some people like, let's leave the kids alone, to be fair. Walz's son has special needs. Leave him alone. Focus on Harrison Walz. This is not a good look for us, and it's going to make Trump supporters look terrible. Gus is a minor and his special needs. Not a good look. Leave the kids alone. Walz's son has special needs. Let's leave the kids alone. Focus on policy. And there were some people that actually stood up for him, and I'm sure if they're following this Salty Goat character, they're probably Trump supporters. But there was a whole lot worse. So Barron's dad, please. Easy choice, Barron. Save the horses. Vote Trump 2024. The entire family is effed up. Screwed up people raise screwed up children. Like, how fucked up is that? Screwed up people raise screwed up children. These attacks on Gus kind of piss me off. In an America where the left-leaning elites and media entertainment complex derides and denigrates fatherhood and fathers, I think we should be applauding that Gus, whatever his disabilities, lives with, loves, and looks up to his father. Exactly. After some reflection, I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon of criticism of this young man. It was genuine, in my honest opinion, and I have no issues with it. Gus is 17-years-old and has a learning disorder. We don't need to involve him. At least these got pushed to the top. We are better than that. Let's focus on policy. Dear CNN, how do you sit there and talk about how the gender gap is a huge problem for Trump because Dems have an advantage with women, but you can't even define what a woman is? Also, the race is close, so it means she has an equally large problem with men. Why isn't it her problem with men? Socialism versus capitalism outside of the Dems. Why do you even share this? Tim Walz, the Walz men are embarrassments. The Walz men. So anybody of his family that's male are embarrassments. Kids are off limits in my book. Neither one has been able to live an average life. I hope they both turn out to be successful men. Disappointed in you in this one. The one that loves their dad. Barron is the man. Seriously, thought you were better than this. Laugh out loud. His name would be Gus. Gus the Fuss. Ask Jesus to give you your heart back. This is unconscionable. Then they've been sharing this clip from, what's the movie? What's the movie where it's like never go full retard? Just Tropic Thunder. Barron, anytime. Shower with dad. Barron will be the next Elon. Just wait. Bad parenting versus good parenting. Barron, just because your dad's fucking super wealthy or even the president doesn't really mean you're going to come out to be something amazing. He's what's considered a nonverbal learning disability, but he's verbal. It's very close to autism. NVLD isn't recognized by the DSM, so we probably classify him as ASD, but he likely struggles with nonverbal cues. Either way, this is raw emotion. Yeah, I thought it was pretty genuine. Come on, goat. This kid is on the autism spectrum. Learning disability. Let's leave him alone. X is all about opinions. We're both conservatives, yet this case have to disagree. Firstly, kids should not be used as political props. Secondly, I believe Wall's son has a disability. We can watch the video. Hold on. I don't even think that Trump doesn't talk about weird. Wow. Gus Walls is my son. He's the son of every parent with a neurodivergent child. You mess with him, you mess with this. This may hurt their campaign more than anything Trump's ever said. My son Gus just passed his, what do you call it, a driver's license exam, proud dad moment. Wait, do we not have audio for this? Stated that his son Gus is off limits from criticism because he's mentally disabled. As a parent, is this how you treat your mentally disabled child? He just pulled his hand. What the fuck are you talking about? Jesus Christ. Long but important, please read. This Tim Watson Gus, he's very emotional last night. There are rumors that he's got a learning disability. I don't know if it's true. I'm just going to say this. I'm not going to pile on the kid. Even if he's 18, you get the point. That's good. I can't believe there's people that would even do this. That's just wild to me. Even if he is 18, that's just wild to me. They're like, that's fucking weird. Who would you rather have, this crying little kid or Barron who doesn't even know who his fucking father is? Like, what the fuck is going on? You guys want to watch the Tiger King debate? It's a prison debate, so it's not the greatest audio, but we can watch it in just a second. Hold on. I'm trying to find the video of the Gus Walls thing.
If you've never experienced the hell that is infertility, I guarantee you know somebody who has. And I can remember praying each night for a phone call. The pit in your stomach when the phone had rang, and the absolute agony when we heard the treatments hadn't worked. It took Gwen and I years, but we had access to fertility treatments. And when our daughter was born, we named her Hope. Hope, Gus, and Gwen, you are my entire world, and I love you. I'm letting you in on how.
So he's saying, you can't hear him, but obviously he's saying that's my dad.
We started a family because this is a big part about what this election is about.
I bet you someone had to wrestle the phone away from Trump before he shared something fucking stupid about it.
Freedom.
So I think it's a genuine moment. I don't think it's staged. I don't think anybody put him up to it. Yeah. I tricked the internet with an AI YouTuber. I've seen that before. A lot of stuff going on lately. What have you guys been up to? Destiny, Tiger King. So here's the prison debate. I think it's only like 20 minutes long, but Destiny's video is like an hour, but we'll get into it. I think his audio sounds a little bit better. They ran it through an editor.
I'm supporting Trump right now. I'm sitting.
Look, how do you line up a debate from prison, dude? This is from the modern day debate or channel or whatever. But how do you even line this up? That's probably why it was so short.
Prison, and I know that the only reason anybody's getting behind.
Yeah, even if you plan on supporting Trump, why go after the guy's kid who has a learning disability and was just trying to show support for his dad? Like, I don't know.
Right now is because she claims she.
Some guy was arguing with me on Twitter, and like he's like, "Didn't Democrats do this for the last 4 years to Barron?" And I was like, "No." But are you saying that Barron is like nonverbal? I said autistic, but with a learning disorder. Doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what I think. It's what they say. And I was like, "You're not equipped for this conversation. Either bring evidence, or fuck off." And they're like, "You don't have evidence." But my evidence was that entire thread. That's why I retweeted it. I don't know if this person doesn't understand how Twitter works, but my evidence when I say, look at these God-fearing Christian MAGA pieces of shit attacking a nonverbal autistic minor, I should put learning disability, for some attaboy points with other MAGA pieces of shit and bots, right? Then they're like, you don't have no this is my evidence. Click this. It's right there. But then I went to their page and found out that it was them that were doing it, right? So they shared the picture from Tropic Thunder, and they're like, oh, Gus Walls seems like a pretty good kid, but it was obviously a screenshot from, they were the people that were fucking doing it, so I blocked them after that. I have no idea what they said. I had 2 notifications, but I blocked them and didn't see them. They just went blank. Anyways, back to Tiger King debate.
Exotic with limo waiting outside prison. Fails to get Trump pardon. Pardon for what? What did he even get? 22-year sentence in a Fort Worth, Texas prison for his conviction on charges.
He wanted a Trump pardon.
And a murder for hire plot. Jesus. Wait, what did he even do? I thought he was just like on a reality TV show.
No, I don't know. Have you guys ever seen the behind the scenes? Hold on, let me see if I can I find this? Tiger King behind the scenes clip. So the guy that went and made the documentary about Tiger King when it blew up or whatever, there's this clip where he says, is the camera off? Cast members who have died. How do I find that clip? I know I've personally seen it before. Tiger King camera off clip, maybe. So Tiger King blew up from an original documentary, right? And from that documentary, Tiger Attacks, Tiger King Golden Nuggets, Fist Fly for Carol Baskin deployed drone focus surveillance camera on Tiger King. He's like, are you sure the camera's off? Are you positive the camera's off? And when he tells him like the camera's off or whatever, he's like, yeah, somebody's going to end up killing that bitch. Yep, somebody's going to end up killing her. And I'm not even saying that it wouldn't be me. Like he's basically admitting to it. I'll have to find the clip some other time and show it to you. But yeah, he murder for hire plot ended up 22 years or something. He wanted Trump to pardon him, but obviously Trump doesn't give a fuck about anybody except unless you donate enough.
Is his last name really Exotic? Known professionally as Joe.
I think I saw it on Twitter. Hold on.
An American media personality, businessman who operated the Greater Exotic Animal Park. The lady who wanted to murder runs Big Cat Rescue here in Tampa. They battled it out for years. The Big Cat Rescue. Wait, is it the same thing on YouTube? The owner of Big Cat Rescue fed her husband to her tigers? Wait, like after he was dead? Like his body? Or like had him killed like that? That's the theory? Oh, look, he's stalking. Look at him stalking. Ooh, and then he stops. Like, ooh, look at him. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, look how cute they are. I think they can put like the big cats and the little cats together and they chill, right? Have you ever
see if I can find it over on Twitter?
It's pretty crazy, the sound that they could produce. If you go to a zoo where there are lions, and you can be like in a totally different part. When the lion roars, you can, whoa, it's a big sound. Like, holy shit. The only thing I don't like about cats is that I feel like it's a lot harder to tell when cats are playing versus when cats are trying to kill each other, as opposed to dogs playing and dogs killing each other. I feel like for a dog, it is immediately obvious when a dog is like upset and is trying to kill another dog. Like you'll never have a second guess in your mind. But cats look like they feel like they're always murdering each other, except for like kitties, where they're kind of like, it's different. But I don't know, man. Cats I feel like it's so much harder. I think they're just autistic. It's so much harder to tell with a cat. I don't know if the cats always know when they're playing. Like, you look at the cat's tail. I don't think you can tell from the cat's tail. I feel like the best way to tell is for cats.
I don't want to hear about cats. I want to see the debate.
The Tiger King.
Tiger King in set. He's watching Tiger King explained in 7 minutes.
Years and follows the life of Joe Exotic, born Joseph Streibvogel, a gay, gunslinging, drug-using rock star hillbilly married to...
I've never had a cat in my life. Well, I guess that's not true. My papaw had like what he called a barn cat, which was just like a feral fucking cat that you couldn't even look at or it'd fuck you up. It would kill fucking snakes. This thing was mean as fuck. It was like an orange cat, and it stayed in the barn, and you couldn't even fucking look at it. And then I kind of grew up. I just had dogs and hated cats, I guess. And then Mariah shows up with a fucking cat one day. So now we've had a cat for like a couple months.
to two men who both later claimed to be straight. Joe owns a park in Oklahoma called GW Zoo, and they have a collection of big cats and employ a cast of characters like a guy who came to feed a bear and just stayed on as an employee for over a decade. Apparently, big cats have this power over people. For example, a woman working at the zoo lost her arm after it was bitten off by a tiger, but due to her love of animals, she was back within 7 days. The employees earned about $130 a week for 12-hour days of hard labor, but they got to live in cockroaches.
$130 a week.
Infested motorhomes, eat expired steaks from Walmart, and play with tigers all day, so I guess it evens out. You also get to meet some other big cat enthusiasts like Doc Ansel, who owns Myrtle Beach Safari and has 3 or 4 or 5 or 9 wives. Nobody really knows, but his son describes him as a Bhagavan, which means the blessed or fortunate one in Hindu. Another character is Mario Tabraue, notorious drug kingpin who was sentenced to 100 years in prison but got out early. He's also an exotic animal dealer and is described as the inspiration for Tony Montana in Scarface. Essentially, they make money by having people come to their zoos, pet the cubs, and experience wildlife up close, but you also get the sense that they all participate in the illegal sale of these endangered animals as well. Joe Exotic.
I think that's why Carol Baskins was claiming against him. You guys remember when the Carol Baskins song went famous? But I think that's what she was alleging, that he was mistreating and selling animals in the black market. But it seems like they all are. It seems like they're all like selling exotic animals for gigantic sums of money, right? I don't know what's going on with my computer. Just drop the fucking page.
Change the fact that Dawn sure ain't coming back. But you can't prosecute, there's just no use, there's nothing left but tiger trap.
Joe Exotic's new music video. That's who he's going to be debating in a second. Jesus.
Would frequently get hired by malls to show off as animals and promote the conservation of their habitat. Everything was going just fine until Carol Baskin, an animal rights activist.
If you care about like animal stuff, okay. If you give a fuck about animal anything, okay, I don't. But if you do care, a lot of people associated with these trades treat the animals incredibly poorly.
Destiny's not an animal lover. I think there's even a clip of him floating around talking about killing his parents' own pets and not feeling a bit of remorse. He didn't do that. He's suggesting that he could. I should clarify. He didn't actually kill the pet. He's saying like he could kill it and have no attachment to it whatsoever. He was talking about his parents and getting them out of debt, and they had like 12 cats, and he was trying to put them in a home or pay off their home, but he needed to get rid of all these fucking cats.
I'm being very careful not to blanket here, but like there are a couple things you should know. For instance, when it comes to buying animals, especially with pedigree, buy from a breeder. I think those are the two that I.
How and where, they have no idea. Joe believes Carol did it and buried him under the sewer. Some over all the cats. Until Carol Baskin, an animal rights activist who also happens.
Carol Baskin from Big Cat Rescue
and Wiener Dog. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, but.
Show off as animals and promote the conservation of their habitat. Everything was going just fine until Carol Baskin, an animal rights activist who also happens to have a few cats in cages and probably used to breed them, but that's beside the point. Anyway, now she owns Big Cat Rescue and is trying to stop Joe Exotic from essentially doing the same thing she does. Joe describes her as wanting to have full control over all cats. But wait, there's more, because in 1997, Carol's former husband, Don Lewis, disappeared and was never found. Law enforcement believe he was murdered. How and where, they have no idea. Joe believes Carol did it.
Law enforcement believes he was murdered. He just disappeared. And Joe Exotic claims that she fed him to the cats.
And buried him under the sewer. Some friends of Don believe he was fed to the cats. Other theories included business deal gone wrong.
Have you seen videos of lions getting caught cheating on one another? No. Shane Gillis has stolen some stuff from Louis C.K., like the way he says, it was mean for us to have done that. The tone of words he uses the same with Louis C.K. when he says it and some other thing to do. I mean, I'm sure he probably just watches a lot of Louis C.K., right?
Don's friends recall that the last time they spoke, he was talking about how he was going to ask Carol for a divorce. Other details of the case include the suspicious fact that Mr. Lewis's will was stolen by Carol, and when it was formally presented, it led with, "Upon my disappearance," which isn't usually found in wills. Don was very wealthy, and Carol got it led with.
So the opening line for his will was "Upon my disappearance."
Upon my disappearance, which isn't usually found in wills. Don was very wealthy, and Carol got nearly all his assets after declaring him dead exactly 5 years and 1 day.
Is that true? I don't want to research this. I don't care enough to research this. Whatever.
After he disappeared, retainment to try to rank higher on.
Do you see Shane and Louis C.K.?
Let's get to the debate.
For example, his watch, which rather than handing over, he decides to blow up. Now would probably be a good time to tell you about. Joe had registered almost everything in someone else's name, everything that he actually owned. Carol Rescue Corporation. Carol ended up suing Joe for copyright infringement and won over $1 million in the case, but Joe couldn't pay back the money, so the court ordered him to give up.
So she sued him, wins $1 million. He won't pay the money back.
Possessions. Joe had registered almost everything in someone else's name, so everything that he actually owned, Carol wanted. For example, his watch, which rather than handing over, he decides to blow up. So everything that he actually owned, Carol wanted. So the court ordered him to give up possessions. Joe had registered almost everything in someone else's name, so everything that he actually owned, Carol wanted. For example, his watch, which rather than handing over, he decides to blow up. Now would probably be a good time to tell you about.
I feel like almost nothing of this is true, but okay, well, whatever. Well, I'm just, let me just sit back and absorb this passively, not critically think about anything going on, okay? Just as a quick thing, when people talk about the reason why you have companies and LLCs is to limit liability. You can't, as long as something's in a company name, they can't hold you personally liable for what happens. That's bullshit. That is not true. You cannot in bad faith hide assets or do shit like that with other companies. For instance, we saw that in one of the, what am I thinking?
It's called piercing the veil.
Full rights to a reality TV show about GW Zoo. Cameras were always rolling, and Joe became paranoid the footage would get sold to Carol. All footage was stored in the production studio, which conveniently burnt down in what was clearly an act of arson. After all Rick's work went up in smoke, he left GW Zoo, where he was living throughout the production. Did Joe...
So that's when everything was being recorded. Everything was being recorded. He was afraid that Carol Baskins would get some of the footage because some of it was like mistreating animals and shit. But it was just like they weren't specifically there to see that. They were just recording basically 24 hours a day. So he burnt down the recording studio.
Wait, I'm sorry. This is very dense. But a lot of...
would get sold to Carol. All footage was stored in the production studio, which conveniently burnt down in what was clearly an act of arson.
Okay.
After all Rick's work went up in smoke, he left GW Zoo, where he was living throughout the production. Did Joe Exotic start the fire? No, he couldn't have because he was away at a funeral. Was he involved? Most likely. Meanwhile, in Florida, Carol...
My dad would sell shit in my name when I was a child because of tax reasons. Yeah, you can't do that. That's not a real thing. Your dad might have thought he was being clever or cute or like sneaky, but in reality, the IRS probably just didn't give up because he didn't make that much money. Because I'm pretty sure that even money can my...
Most of the tricks you hear about the IRS, even if they seem very illegal, the IRS is oftentimes think of how much time they'd have to dedicate to pull like 7 years of your tax records, unless you get like several red flags, to pull several years of your tax records, assign people to review them, go through them, get an agent to talk to you, go through, potentially go to court to recover like $200. Is it worth it? Usually not. They're looking for, they have red flags that pop up and they're looking for enough of them and enough return on their investment where they're not losing money to do it.
Child can almost be 1040 or it's going to float.
And I say that with my dad getting busted one time.
I need to file what you're doing with your
Ferraris and party nights away in Vegas. Low trade. Was he involved? Most likely. Meanwhile, in Florida, Carol is still trying to collect on $1 million settlement. Lucky for Joe, a guy by the name of Jeff Lowe steps up to pay the debt. Jeff was a playboy who drove Ferraris and party nights away in Vegas. Low trade himself.
Look at that. Look at this guy's face. Oh, he's got his mouth open and everything.
Yes, Lowe portrayed himself as a very wealthy man, and Joe bowed down to him. The only problem was he didn't actually have any money, or at least not as much as he said he did. Jeff was a bit of a con man, and eventually ended up owning the park, slowly taking it over, beginning with an overhaul of the staff. The first one to be brought on was his hand.
So this guy is a con man who says he's going to pay off the $1 million that he owes, and ends up stealing the park from Joe Exotic.
Man, Alan Glover.
And this is all a true story,
was a Walmart
or mostly true.
Daily trips to pick up bullets.
Why do all of these... No, that's too many.
Has stated that Joe didn't know what a libertarian was, and running the campaign was the worst decision he ever made. Joe surprisingly ended up getting third in the libertarian primary, claiming nearly 19% of the vote. Unfortunately for Joe, things began to calm down fast after an FBI investigation found that he hired one of his staff to go down to Florida and kill Carol Baskin. Ultimately, the hitman decided not to follow through.
Yeah, a few $1,000s wouldn't be worth it for them. Like sometimes, okay, I don't want to misspeak here. Sometimes you will get caught up in the IRS and you'll owe like $500, but it's not because they're like, this son of a bitch owes us $500. That's not the reason you got caught up, right? $500 typically isn't worth it for them. What happened is you tripped the right flags to make it seem like you could potentially owe a lot more money and have that money, or, you know, they're going to take your paycheck or seize your assets or whatever, right? So, like, my dad didn't have money to pay, but he tripped enough flags. Like, he won a pickup truck one year and didn't pay gift taxes on it and tried to, like, undeclare it or whatever. And because it was like a brand new fucking truck and it was like loaded from the factory and shit, like it was they thought that they could get assets from him, right? Or he'd have to sell a truck or whatever. But he tripped the right flags because it seemed like really sketchy. It seemed like really weird. But then when he explained it, he ended up owing like a few $100s in taxes. It was no big deal, plus some fees. So like you could get called in by the IRS and owe them like $200, $300, $400, $1,000. But that's not what they're looking for, right? The problem is you just trip the right flags to where they could potentially be a lot of money here, or you're hiding a crime, or you're doing this. Maybe it's drugs or money laundering or some shit like that, funding terrorism, and you just were unlucky enough to trip these flags. But they're not trying to spend $10,000 in investigation to recover $2,000 or $200, right? It's just not feasible for them. They'd go fucking broke all the time.
But because there was no crime or proof of payment, the FBI were unable to prosecute. However, Jeff Lowe got his friend Alan. But because there was no crime or proof of...
And I say this knowing that our tax code is completely fucked up. Like, they expect me to do my taxes correctly and tell them how much I make and how much taxes I should be paying and how much I did pay. But they know that. They know how much I made. They know how much I paid in taxes. They know how much I should pay. Instead of just saying, you should have paid this and you paid this, like, I've got to do this fucking formula and figure out how many kids I've got and how many people I claimed and how many different places I worked. And then they're like, I submit it to them. They're like, you're wrong. And I'm like, well, what should it be? And they're like, we know, but we're not going to tell you. Like, it's really fucked up, and it could definitely be simplified. But yeah, they're not coming after you for $200-$300, even a few $1,000s probably.
Ultimately, the hitman decided not to follow through.
Not purposefully.
Wait, what's happening here?
But because
usually when these old, look at the aspect ratio, right? This is old footage. Usually these cameras could never record these like monitors because they'd always be like flickery or whatever. Why do you think it's not being all flickery and weird on this here? What's going on?
there was no crime or proof of payment, the FBI were unable to prosecute. However, Jeff Lowe got his friend Alan Glover, the same guy who bailed on the murder, to confess to being paid $3,000
Well, that was from CBS News, so it was a pretty hardcore fucking camera setup, I'm sure.
to carry out the crime. Whether this was made up by Jeff to get some good graces with the FBI is hard to tell, but it did lead to Joe's...
It could definitely be simplified. They know how much money you make. They know everything. They should just send you and say, you owe this much, and then there should be like a few steps to say, oh, I can write this off, write this off, write this off, so I don't owe you any, or you owe me money or whatever. I always just, it's not the right way to do it. The right way to do it is to perfectly calculate what your tax liability is going to be and try to get as close to that number as possible to where you don't owe money and they don't owe you money, right? Because you could take that money, you could invest it, you put it in a savings account, you do whatever. I always err on the side of caution and pay extra, and then I get it back if I paid extra.
was arrested on January 22nd, 2020.
Only CRT monitors have that problem? Is that true? I don't know if that's true or not.
He was sentenced to 2 counts of murder.
Not only do you have goats grazing on his golf course, but you also get buried on his golf course, so he can call it a family cemetery and not and have part of it be exempt from taxes.
For hire, 8 counts of falsifying wildlife records, and 9 counts of violating the Endangered Species Act. He was sentenced to 22 years in prison. In the end, this is really just a story of a bunch of people who hate each other, and although their intentions might have been good at the beginning, they got drawn down this horrible...
Tax?
I don't want to see the debate.
Or you would file and lie, but like...
I think it's over Trump.
What's up?
We should get the call any minute.
Also, where's your mic? What's going on here?
So because we have a unique circumstance.
See how bad the audio is?
Zooming, or I should say calling via a phone, like the time you kind of hold up your head that has a cord coming out of it. We had to do this where he can't call directly into the Zoom call. He's got to call me. And then
I got you. Okay.
Wait till you see this next one.
It's going to be so fun. You won't even believe it, Steven.
Oh, boy.
Wait till you see
story update. A couple story updates. One, the Disney dropped their claim that because you sign up for Disney Plus, that means they can kill you in their park and nothing will ever happen. Right? They dropped that claim. Two, let me see. Where's that article that I just had up? Was it over here? Two, we've been talking a lot about Jan 6 lately, so I was tagged in a story today from the New York Times. Former Oath Keepers lawyer who actually was in a relationship. So this woman, that's a lawyer for the Oath Keepers, she came out around 2020 with the election, claiming the election was stolen. She was one of those lawyers for Trump people, right? And she came out, then the Oath Keepers started providing security for her after she came out as like a whistleblower. And then she ends up in a romantic relationship with the leader of the Oath Keepers. They were both there on January 6th. Her and the leader of the Oath Keepers did not enter the building, but they were all involved in that shady parking garage meeting with the leader of the Proud Boys and shit, all that stuff. She pled guilty today, or I guess, yeah, on the 21st. I'm sorry. She pled guilty on the 21st for advising all the Oath Keepers, including her romantic partner and other people that were charged. She advised them as their lawyer to delete all of their messages on an encrypted messaging app, so we'll never know what was going on there. Probably, if they use Signal or Telegram, we'll never know because they don't work with the police, right? It's encrypted a lot of times end to end, and she advised them. So she's going to jail for sure. Her significant other, who planned a lot of the Jan 6 stuff for the Oath Keepers, ended up with 18 years in prison, I think, was his shit. So we'll see what she gets.
I'd be heartbroken. I'd take a walk. I'd just say, well, yeah, maybe I should have known. But I will say, like, they've been super responsive via email. So if there was any sort of, like, you know, they don't show up, I'd be really surprised. I'd be like, wow, like, they emailed me like twice a day. And I would just, you know.
The prison emailed you twice a day?
I'm going to take a walk and I'll be all right. But I am excited for this.
All right, yeah, should be fun, yeah.
I'm surprised when people say that debates don't, I mean, I'm sure you would disagree with this, that when people say, oh, debates don't change minds, it doesn't make a difference anyway. You'd probably say, maybe some people it doesn't, but a lot of people it probably incrementally moves them. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you can move people over time. A single debate could change somebody's mind if somebody sees somebody get destroyed. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the debate has moved them because of some huge substantive point. But I mean, it could make you see your content creator or another person in a different light. It could make you see your arguments in a different light. You could be introduced to a new point that could germinate in your mind and over time or something. You know, yeah, there's a lot of ways that debates can change people's minds. Yeah, different things work better on different people. Just depends on the thing. Yeah.
That makes sense. There's also something to the idea that maybe a single debate, within reason, like maybe there are some cases, but generally it'd probably be bad if a single debate changed someone, let's say from an atheist to a theist, or a theist to an atheist, Republican, Democrat, etc. It might be good that it's just like a piece of the puzzle for them, like a small step in their broader search. So what was I thinking? Oh yeah, and then even though, because I do sometimes get people that ask me, what about modern day debate having these people that might have dangerous views? You know, we've had people that have had really controversial views. And what if they influence people because maybe they don't have the best arguments? Because my first thought is, well, I mean, do you think these, for example, neo-Nazis that we've hosted some pretty bad apples, do you think that their arguments are more persuasive? And they're like, oh, well, I mean, no, their evidence and arguments aren't as good. And I'm like, why are you worried? Why do you think that they're going to persuade people into their neo-Nazi camp? And they usually say, well, maybe that if they're more charming, if they have a sense of humor, if they're even better looking, these more peripheral components might persuade people to them. But the research this is from Petty and Cassiapo, 1986, it's the elaboration likelihood model, to suggest that that's not actually a long-lasting or an effective way of changing minds. So when they look at the actual evidence in terms of what changes minds, it's arguments and evidence that are logical, evidence-based, and those more peripheral things like sense of humor, looks, don't seem to have the lasting effect that logical arguments and evidence do. So more central routes seem to actually be more persuasive to people. That's something I commonly bring up because we have a lot of people that say, well, what if they persuade another way other than their argument?
I mean, like, the thing is, I think the thing is there's like a totality of things that are always happening, and it's very hard to take one variable out of a person's life and try to analyze the impact of just that variable longitudinally over a long period of time, right? Like, I'm sure, I'm 100% positive that there's probably a huge correlation of people that if you measure the circumference of somebody's like quads or biceps, you know, that's probably heavily correlated with whether or not they have a subscription to a gym or something. But like, having a subscription to a gym doesn't give you any muscles. It doesn't do anything, right? But the person that goes to the gym is probably likely to also exercise and do a bunch of other things. A person that listens to a debate is probably also already atypical. They're probably somebody that also
Where does it start?
Content they have.
The most with Trump.
They're talking about does debate change minds or not?
Most, like, you could say it had the greatest effect on any campaign.
Of event that wasn't a debate at all, and people could have come away with a similar feeling.
That's a good point. Good distinction.
Okay, here we go. I think I see it coming up. Hold on.
So Kamala's able to have like a foot in both worlds, where she's getting like this incumbent advantage without all the incumbent liability, which is a really enviable position to have. But who knows if that'll continue to carry on or not? I'm not sure. But the borders are attacks. I think we're really dumb. It's like the vice president. I don't feel like they've landed well, but who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, here we go. I think I see it right here.
Hey, yeah, real simply, I support Biden over, it's like it's a meme or like a pre-acted. I can't tell. Was it? I don't know if these are like filmed and then like, or if they're live to tape, or if they're like live broadcast live.
Thrilled to have you here, Joe Exotic. We're going to kick it over to Destiny for his opening statement. Thanks for being with us. The floor is all yours, Stephen, for that opening statement.
Hey, yeah, real simply, I support Biden over, I guess I support Kamala. I support the Kamala ticket over Trump because I don't think Trump was able to get anything done. Even if I supported Trump's policies, I think that he was an ineffective leader. I think he's a bad business guy. He wasn't able to do any of the things that he promised he could deliver on. And under the Biden-Kamala administration, they've delivered on things that Trump literally said he would deliver on. They got an infrastructure bill passed. They've done a better job at kind of like uniting Americans and working in Congress to pass legislation. And they've had way more accountability for their decisions than Trump, who is a loser and blames everybody else for his problems all the time, constantly, and doesn't take responsibility or accountability for anything.
Thank you very much for that opening, Stephen. We will kick it over to Joe Exotic. Thanks for being with us, Tiger King. The floor is all yours for your 2-minute opening as well.
Well, if anybody knows me, I hate politics, period, because they're all liars. So, unfortunately, I'm supporting Trump right now because Biden and Harris has had the same as Trump had. They've been in there almost 4 years now, and they've done nothing to help people be able to pay rent, pay groceries, pay gas prices. All they want to do is lie. Okay, now Harris is for fracking. For the last 4 years, we've done nothing but EV sales, put in chargers, spend billions of dollars doing that. We're not drilling to produce our own oil and sustain our own country with our own energy, but for what a climate deal. And now Biden is putting windmills out in the ocean, which is our most fragile ecosystem on the planet. and then him and Harris are given 10, 20-year leases to the animal rights and the tree huggers for BLM land. So now the forests are not going to be harvested right. Your cattle ranchers aren't going to be able to use BLM land for grazing and raising agriculture. So nothing really makes sense. Not to mention, neither one of them give a damn about.
He's super uninformed. Like his political beliefs are memes, basically.
What's going on at the border. And it's not just the southern border. We just had, 1 million fentanyl pills caught at the Canadian border. But the only one that people want to complain about is the southern border because that's where the Mexicans
offshore wind projects are probably somewhere where they would be more viable, to be honest with you.
are all coming in. But, when we have homeless vets living on the streets and we're giving hotel rooms in New York City to immigrants that are coming into the country illegally and through Biden and Harris's policies right now, America needs to change. Trump is going to keep us safe.
Until Republicans, including Trump, start supporting veterans, stop using us as a fucking cry to somehow say this is unfair, right? Well, we send money to Portugal and we send money to Palestine and we have illegal immigrants in hotels, but we got homeless veterans. Yeah, but every time something comes up for veterans, you guys shoot it the fuck down.
From our world enemies. All we've done under Biden and Harris is trade dangerous criminals for basketball players and ballerinas and give away billions and billions of dollars to fight foreign wars. Not to mention $6 billion to release some more prisoners that we had of someone else's. So, no, America is not safe under Harris at all. I don't think she's tough enough to stand up to Russia, China, or anyone else. And you got to think more about you got to get your head out of the abortion center, okay? Because 15 seconds left. Everybody's going to die, all right, if we end up in World War III. And Harris is just not tough enough to do it. So there you have it.
Thank you very much for that opening. We will kick it into open dialogue. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is all yours.
Yeah, I guess I feel like the biggest issue is like Trump had 4 years and Trump just complained about everything. He said that the people that he hired didn't do well work for him.
By the way, imagine being a former president, and I think 40 out of his 44, was that right? 40 out of his 44 people that worked for him as he was president, part of his cabinet, part of his team, are not returning or supporting him in any fashion in his run for re-election. All that's left is the goddamn psychopaths who want to pump him up and say, "Yep, they stole the election from you. You should suspend the Constitution." That's all that's left to hang out with him.
Everybody that's worked with him has said that he's, a loser. He's got a different vice president now because he doesn't like the last one. Like, I feel like when a guy's surrounded by that many people saying, I don't support this guy, it seems like he does a bad job. I feel like, why would I trust this guy for another 4 years?
Okay, well, he was in there for 4 years, but when did the Democrats give him a piece of quiet so he could do his damn job?
They had a super majority when he entered. When did they give him some peace and quiet so he could do something? He needs silence? Is that what you're saying, or you're saying like they didn't help him, they didn't support him? He had a super majority when he entered office, right? The House, the Senate, and the presidency. Plus, he got to pick all the fucking judges. He had the luckiest judge picks of anybody.
They impeached him twice, and that wasn't good enough. That's just like the situation I'm in. Hell, I left and gave him my zoo, and they still came after me and indicted me with 21 charges. They indicted him with 94 charges to what? Prove a point?
Well, I mean, that's
it's all crap.
part of being a leader.
If you want somebody to do a job, leave them in there and let them do their damn job. They're already.
Every other president ever has had opposition, and they still get stuff done. Trump just likes to. Trump can't admit Trump can't even come out and say like, we wanted to get this and this done, and we only got one of them done, but we'll try to get the next one if we win re-election, right? He can't say that. It's, they fought me tooth and nail. They impeached me twice. It's a witch hunt. Nobody could do exactly. We did so much. Everybody said, there's no way you can do this much, and we did it anyway. No, you didn't. You didn't get that much done.
Planning.
You didn't get any of the shit you ran on done.
They already have blueprints of how they're going to invoke the 14th Amendment to kick him out if he wins. Let the American people decide, not the politicians in Congress decide for us. If the American people want to vote him back in and let him do his damn job. Sit in his chair and shut up.
I mean, we voted in Obama, and McConnell and the Republicans didn't let us have another liberal Supreme Court justice. So it seems like everybody in Congress does this. It's just part of being the president. It's part of.
Well, to be fair, so Mike Pillow looks much less pedophile-y now that he is shaved his mustache. So maybe Department of Education is a good fit for him now not a Boy Scout troop leader, that he's still a little bit too
working our political system, and Trump seems to be unable to work the political system. When you're the president, people are going to attack you. That's part of being the president. If anybody should understand that, you think it would be Donald Trump, right?
No, nobody.
Oh,
political system.
long-time viewers, you'll be interested to hear this. So apparently, Liberty Warrior. You guys remember Liberty Warrior? So apparently, Liberty Warrior was over in Sage's chat today, and he said that he's no longer a truther guy, and he was calling out, he claimed he was in Mike Penny's chat calling him out for lies, and claims that he's not even sure he's voting for Trump anymore. Here, I'll let Sage tell you. Hold on. I think these are voice memos.
So a Liberty Warrior came into my show today. He is completely no longer a grifter, truther, whatever.
That's the first one.
And also, doesn't believe he's going to be voting for Trump.
Doesn't believe he's going to be voting for Trump.
And allegedly was in Mike Penny's chat as Mike Poff, calling out Mike Penny.
Calling out Mike Penny. Can you believe it, chat? You remember how mad he got when he was selling makeup for Melaleuca and I put that filter on him that gave, and he's like, some people are making videos like I'm a drag queen. He was selling makeup, so I found a Snapchat filter that gave him like fucking eyeshadow and like rouge and shit. Some people are making videos as if I'm a drag queen. Yeah, some people are.
That's why it needs to be handed back to the people. Okay. First of all, a federal judge should be elected every 4 years. For God's sake, if the American president has to be elected every 4 years, why the hell are we giving a judge a lifetime commitment?
Well, because we don't want judges running for re-election. We don't want a judge make.
We don't. That's exactly right. Judges are appointed because they should be above, like having to make campaign promises, having to do this, having to worry about if I make this ruling, I'll never get reelected. It's the right thing to do. Imagine this scenario, hypothetical. How would you feel if you didn't have breakfast this morning? No, I'm just fucking with you. Imagine it's hypothetical. A judge knows by the letter of the law that the right decision to make is A. But he also knows that the common man will not understand the letter of the law. He will not be able to explain it well enough. And the common person, wherever he's a judge over, is going to 100%, 99% of the people are going to think that decision B should be made. He should be above that and not have to think, if I make the correct decision here, which what I believe through the law, through the interpretation, with the history of rulings in the past, if I make the correct decision here, I'll lose my fucking job. I'll never be elected anywhere again, and I'll have to go do something else. They should be above that, right? Their decisions should not be held against them every time they have to run for re-election, right?
Making a decision because they're trying to win a re-election. We want the judges making decisions based on law, right?
You're not getting that either way. You're getting a judge that's making a decision whether he's a Democrat or a Republican. Okay, I'm sitting in prison, and I know this, okay? You have no idea what you're talking about, okay? Everybody that got sentenced by a Democrat judge, especially sex offenders, are doing 4 years. Everybody that got sentenced by a Republican judge is doing 20 to 30 for an 8-ball of meth.
4 years for sex offenders, 30 years for an 8-ball of meth.
Well, I mean, don't do drugs in states that are Republican run, I guess. I mean, what do you want to do? I mean, different states. I mean, a lot of the elections for these people are done on your public ballots for your state elections. I mean, that's up to the people to vote for it. You can live in the state that you want. I mean, this is what you guys want when you talk about having the people decide.
And a lot of these decisions are made by prosecutors and other people as well.
Right? Weak federal governments.
But this isn't true, right? We've looked at charging documents before and what level they are and how you add multiple charges together and how you come up with a range. Sometimes they'll be particularly, how would Eli say it? Heinous, and they'll give you on the deeper end of the range. Sometimes there's circumstances that lower it, and they'll give you on the lower end of the range or below the range. But typically they fall within this range.
Strong state governments, every state will.
Eli, the pathetic patriot, is now recording arguments with his mother and broadcasting them when she thinks she's talking to George Clooney or whoever, and it's really somebody from Rwanda, and she's sending them $1,000 of gift cards. He's not putting the camera on her, but he's recording her voice while they argue about these things now.
We'll do things a little bit differently.
While he smokes his cigarettes like a cool kid.
And regardless of how a judge sentences you, it's a jury at the end of the day of your peers that convicts you for the crime. So
No, it's not. You don't even know your own system. It's not the jury at the end of the day that decides your system. You're sentenced in a federal court.
I didn't say this. Your sentence. They convict you of the crime. They convict you of the crime.
Okay, well,
they do not decide sentencing.
Prosecutors are just as corrupt.
Sometimes they make recommendations.
As the judges and the FBI.
Okay, well, they're all corrupt. Why vote any day? They just don't vote. Who cares then? Why vote at all?
That's exactly right.
Yeah, true. I agree. I would vote.
Because whoever I vote for, you're not going to like, and you're going to do everything you can to disrupt his election, and I'm going to do everything I can to disrupt your election. So what's it matter?
True. I think if you support true freedom and giving the government back to people, we should protest the election or just not vote or write in somebody or vote RFK. I think that'd be the best.
Why do you think I ran?
Vote RFK.
Write-in candidate to take that stand. What have you done?
Not that. Do you think people should write in? Let's say they were going to support Trump then, because I mean Trump's just part of the system and the FBI is all corrupt anyway. I think those people should just write in Joe Exotic instead. They should all write your name in. We should all vote for you.
Hey, that's the whole reason I've been campaigning for the last 2 years.
Okay, I get behind that.
Okay, because it's just like the border. Okay, I could solve that border problem with one thing, and that is to vet them, let them in, give them a non-citizen tech number, charge them $50 a month, just like the third world country Belize does. You can stay, you can work, you can be part of society, but you're going to pay your dues because my neighbor gave up 2 legs for this freedom. You're going to pay $50 a month.
Yeah, but don't Republicans call that amnesty? I don't think they'd be in favor of that.
Well, how can that be amnesty? You have to pay your part to get freedom.
It's amnesty if you let them stay here.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Democrats are probably okay with that. I don't think Republicans.
Did you have any family members in the war?
In which one? Iraq or?
In any war, buddy.
Yeah, my grandpa, I think, did Vietnam.
Did he live?
He survived Vietnam. He died of lung cancer. Like,
did he live? You got any family members that's been in any wars?
50 years later, but I mean,
did you have any friends die in Vietnam?
I'm not sure. He died when I was like 10. I haven't been able to ask him.
In Korea.
Okay, well, I'm sorry.
All of my dad's friends died in Korea. Do you think it's fair for all of them to die so some Nicaraguan can come live and reap the benefits for free?
I don't think that you fight in the military for immigration rules. I think there's a whole bunch of other things in our country.
You fight in the
You don't fight in the war for food stamps and immigration.
For freedom, okay? The American flag stands for freedom.
That's fine, but what you're talking about for immigration is a restriction. It's the opposite of freedom. Yeah, paying prices and having immigration rules are the opposite of freedom. So you're fighting for something more than just freedom. I agree we should have rules and restrictions around immigration. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying the idea of like having people here who are here illegally pay $50 a month to stay here or whatever. I think most Republicans would be.
I still want to ask people, other than like, don't you watch OANN, Newsmax? Why do you think the border's open? What does that mean in your head? Like, there's a big sign down there. They're not chasing people. They're not trying to stop people. The Border Patrol just left all of the entry points, and people are just not even slowing down. They're just doing like 110 through the checkpoints. Or what does that mean to you?
Be opposed to that. They call that amnesty. I think the Democrats would be more likely to support that than the Republicans would.
Of course they are.
How do you feel about your
most of them are paying taxes, and they can't even reap the rewards from their so they're paying taxes with no benefit to them.
Neighbor having a farm and not being able to sell milk to his neighbor.
I don't know all the different land and FDA restrictions on that, but I mean, I imagine there's probably reasons why random people can't sell food to other random people for health reasons and stuff. But
why?
What probably
back in the 60s when I was born, our milk used to come in a glass container and sit on the porch for 4 hours before we even got up. What has changed? Other than politics?
250, 300 years ago, people used to drink mercury when they thought they were sick. I don't know how I'm supposed to respond to that. My guess is going to be on the aggregate. Milk is probably safer now when people drink it than it probably was when people drank milk out of random cows 60, 70 years ago. That'd be my guess.
So Harris wants to set prices on groceries. So a bag of chips is only $5. You realize how many businesses that's going to put out of business?
I don't think that Harris is going to be able to set prices. I don't think that's going to happen. And Donald Trump wanted to put a 20% tariff on every single country. I don't think that's going to happen. That would be insane.
By the way, Donald Trump is still arguing. Hold on. Let me see if I can find that clip. Donald Trump is still arguing that the rest of the world doesn't understand tariffs. That he's the only person in the world that understands tariffs. There's a clip floating around where he's like, people think that tariffs is a tax on the people. It's not. It's on the country. It's on the country. Yeah, we pay them, motherfucker. Like I don't know how I could be more plain about this. When Donald Trump has his tariffs on Chinese goods, and I wanted to buy a Go XLR, it was $40 more expensive than if anybody else bought it in the world. They just pass it on to you. I don't know what you don't understand about this. But he's at rallies saying that the rest of the world doesn't understand tariffs. Like we do. We pay it, right? Yeah, you put it on the imported goods from other countries. We get that, right? But we just pay it. They're not paying it. They're passing it on to whoever buys it in the U.S. And if they sell it to any other country in the world, they don't have to pay it.
Dude, that's what Donald Trump wants to do. Donald Trump's got a higher chance of doing that than Harris does, because I think Trump could do that by executive order.
Harris is just not presidential quality, period. Okay, it's not that she's a woman. It's not that she's not black enough. Okay, the only.
I wonder if she's got people. If he's got people in the background cheering for him.
And anybody's getting behind her right now is because she claims she's black. She's a woman. The Democrats want the first woman to become president and be colored. Everything about Biden and Harris has been about putting black people in the Supreme Court.
Former President Donald Trump loves tariffs. He absolutely goes nuts for them and has made an even sharper turn back to protectionist policies. A major part of his campaign. He also has no idea how tariffs work or what function they perform, and doesn't understand how this proposed policies would pile higher costs on American consumers already frustrated with rising inflation. That's why it's confounding that voters somehow trust Trump to bring down prices. Trump's latest love letter to tariffs came early in a lengthy interview with Time magazine reporter Eric Cortellessa. For months now, he's floated a potential 10% tariff across the board on all imports. In other words, companies that are importing goods from places like Mexico or China would need to pay 10% of their costs to the U.S. Treasury Department. Now, though, he says the actual amount under his watch could be even higher. The reporter says, when you say more than that, though, you mean maybe more than 10% on imports? Trump says more than 10%. Yeah, I call it a ring around the country. We have a ring around the country, a reciprocal tax also, in addition to what we said. And if we do that, the numbers are staggering. I don't believe it will have much of an effect because they're making so much money off us. I also don't believe that the costs will go up that much. And a lot of people say, oh, that's going to be a tax on us. I don't believe that. I think it's a tax on the country that's doing it. And I know. That was his exact quote. Oh, that's going to be a tax on us. I don't believe that. I think it's a tax on the country and that's doing it, and I know. No, he doesn't know, which is truly impressive for someone who has arguably been in charge of the U.S. economic policy. Contrary to his longstanding belief that tariffs are paid by the importers as the goods enter the U.S., not by the exporting country, they're paid by the importers, not the export. So what it's supposed to do is companies would instead, like let's say we put it on steel. What it's supposed to do is offset, like you can make steel cheaper in China than you can in the United States. It's supposed to offset that to where people who are buying steel beams would buy them in the U.S. because they're actually cheaper than buying them from China at a lower rate and then paying the tariffs. But what happens is stuff like electronics that are fucking basically made in China. There's no company that makes the Go XLR like I wanted in the United States. So what happens is they bring it in, the importer pays it, and then passes it on to me. Amazon just passes it to me. Like, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with him. He doesn't understand what the fuck he's talking about.
We're the first one to put a black person in the Supreme Court. Let me tell you something. The Democrats are so out of control. Okay, the federal government and the prison system will pay $200,000 to cut the off of a man and turn him into a woman, but I can't get ketchup on my fries on Wednesdays. Okay, that's how up the Democrats have this.
Why can't you?
We have women waiting at is put on in the same prison using the same showers as the men waiting to have theirs cut off.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty niche issue that I don't think the average person cares about that much at all, number one. And number two, even if I thought these were important issues, Donald Trump didn't do anything about it. Donald Trump had 4 years to do anything. He didn't do anything. Even when he had both Republicans in all the Congress, Republicans on the Supreme Court.
Because he spent half his time in court fighting the Democrats.
He's got lawyers. He's a billionaire. He's the president. What do you mean? He's got other people to fight those battles for him. That's part of being the president. They're trying to impeach Biden right now. Yeah, that's what happens when you're the president.
Whatever. Let's just for every month during June of every year, let's just turn the White House rainbow color and have drag shows and make y'all happy.
Okay.
As an openly gay man, that's disgusting. It should be the American flag, and it should represent the American people. It shouldn't have 1 month the gay flag and all the pillars gay rainbow. It shouldn't have 1 month Black Lives Matter. Where does it stop?
I don't know. I mean, I'd rather the different colored lights outside the White House than 1 month of playing The Apprentice where Donald Trump fires another cabinet member or fires another close advisor or fires somebody else because they wouldn't, follow him on some crazy...
A month of playing The Apprentice.
Cockbaity
scheme or some crazy...
needs to fire somebody.
Yeah? It didn't seem to help Trump very much, no?
It doesn't seem to help Biden other than figuring out how to get more money in his bank account.
Well, I mean, even if that was the case, at least Biden made money. He didn't lose money like Trump did. Sounds like a good leader and a good businessman.
Stealing it from the American people. My grandmother put in Social Security. My grandmother put in Social Security for 70 years, so the federal government could cut her Social Security. If that happened, if that was
Social Security for that long? If you start working at like 7?
But Biden can take $5 million from Ukraine as a bribe, and that's why we're handing Ukraine $114 billion, so they don't out him.
Just focusing on Kamala and Trump, I do want to just redirect this because though I understand how Biden's relevant that he's the actual president while she's the VP for him, I do want to just direct us more towards this upcoming election per se.
Yeah, I mean, Trump had 4 years. He couldn't pass any legislation. He blamed everybody else for everything that happened. Everybody around the world.
How do you pass legislation when the House is Republican and the Senate is Democrat? He had
a House and Senate that were both Republican. He couldn't pass anything because he was a loser. Nobody liked him. He couldn't work with anybody.
Again, you're blaming the president when the president doesn't even have that power. You need to be.
How could he even pass anything when he has Democrats and Republicans in Congress? Well, he had a supermajority. Yeah, but you're blaming him, and he doesn't even do that.
Blaming your senators and your...
Especially during times of a supermajority, a president absolutely does communicate. Even when we're not in a supermajority, he does communicate what he'd like to see passed. He does communicate what he would like to go through. He calls upon Congress to do this, to pass this law, to ban this, to start this often. And even when they won't for him, he has the ability to at times go around them with like executive orders and stuff, like Trump when he did his weird border wall thing.
Congressman.
Well, how was Biden able to do it with how was Biden
that apparently we all took down?
Able to do with the divided Senate?
They're the ones that don't vote anything in.
Okay, well, as part of being the president, you're supposed to help your party. You cheerlead them through legislation. You work with people. You talk with people. You're the leader. That's the whole point.
Can you get your neighbors to get along?
You should be a deal maker, which is what Trump ran on. He's the guy that can go in there and make the deals, make everybody happy and make the deals. Not the guy who can be mad and in Florida and call up and say, yeah, the border's I'm going to tell people the border's the biggest problem in the fucking world. But then when you go to fix the border, I'm going to tell you not to fix it so I can run on it.
Look, if you're the president of the homeowners association, can you get all your homeowners to get along?
You better believe that the people that are the leaders of these things have to get everybody to agree on things. Yeah, that's what they have to. They have to agree on things.
It's the president's job to make them get along. Are they 5-year-olds?
No, they're representing different constituents with different desires, different hopes and dreams and fears, and that's part of your...
the voters' people to make sure they get along.
I don't think he understands how the political system works.
Vote their asses out.
All right, well, in that case, it doesn't matter who's president anyway. So why would you support Trump over anybody else if it doesn't matter? Oh, well, okay, I agree. Exactly. We should write you in.
Anyway, I'm out of time, guys. This has been fun, but it's just like a typical debate. Nobody has an open mind to understand that the American people are the ones that have to change it. Okay, and we're not going to change it by electing in Kamala Harris or Trump. We got to get somebody that's not a billionaire that was born with a silver spoon in their mouth, or a prosecutor, an ex-prosecutor.
He's only mad about Trump because he loved Trump when he thought he could get a pardon from Trump.
Or we need a farmer or somebody from the streets that knows how hard it is to pay bills and knows.
How cool would it be if it was regular people that went, not the president, right now? That would be a lofty goal. But how cool would it be if regular people just went to Congress? They were allowed to serve between 2 and let's say 2 to 5 terms, and then they came back and had to live under those fucking laws and weren't a billionaire suddenly.
What's going on out here?
Yeah, I think we should. I think we could have a leader that knows how to
like you were a mechanic, but you had to take 3 years off to serve your country because you went and become a representative for 3 years or whatever, or you were a factory worker, or you were this guy, or you were that guy. I think that'd be cool.
Navigate the political system and get.
I think you'd need a whole hell of a lot of people, of advisors, the same way like a president isn't going to know everything. You have to have a ton of advisors.
Politically effective things done. I think that Harris and Biden have shown they're able to do that. Trump has shown that he's not able to do that. He can barely run his businesses, so.
Well, he became a billionaire, didn't he? Is Harris a billionaire?
I mean, his dad was
He started with $1 billion and ended up with a little less.
rich. I don't think it's that impressive.
I mean, his dad might have been rich, but his dad wasn't as rich as Trump is now.
Didn't his dad ended up passing off like $430 million off to his children afterwards. I think Trump probably would have been wealthy if he just invested his money and did nothing with it. What did he declare bankruptcy on? 11 different businesses? He had casinos going broke in Atlantic City. Like, this guy's not a good businessman. If it wasn't for The Apprentice, I don't know if he would have any money at all left. Like, geez.
The Apprentice was a big money maker for him, his name and all that stuff.
Harris will never get my support because
we usually don't talk about reality TV stars as being amazing fucking businessmen. You know what I mean?
he politically co-sponsored the very bill that put me in prison.
That's
for
fair.
an agenda to make an illegal monopoly.
I wasn't just-
You cannot pass a law to make a nonprofit be the only one to make money. And that's exactly what she's done. So in my eyes, she's a criminal. And
a nonprofit be the only one to make money.
American people need to really consider what she has done to the black people that she put in prison.
By the way, you guys know the older millennial that we always talk shit about on TikTok? Today, I watched him try to argue that there is not a housing shortage. Now, I'll give you a minute if you want to Google it. But if you Google, is there a housing shortage? And he says, look this up. You can't find that there's a housing shortage. The problem is, he said, if there's a affordable house shortage. What? Then he says, if it was just a housing shortage, that would be the builder's fault. But because it's affordable housing shortage, that's the government's fault for driving up the prices. But if you just just Google, it says from 2021 to 2022, our housing shortage grew to 4.5 million homes. I think in 2023, there were 1.8 million more families that needed homes, whether that's rentals or condos or whatever, it doesn't matter, or buying. And only 1.4 housing units were built. So right there's 0.4 million. Oh, it's affordable houses. What? The government drove up the prices to where nobody can afford them, but they're there. They're just sitting empty. They're not. There's a gigantic fucking housing shortage. Somewhere between 4 and 7 million. And the number seems to be rising.
Long they've been in prison? Do you realize that a monkey in this country has more rights in a cage than a human being does in prison?
I don't know exactly what we mean by that, but
it means that the justice system that her and Biden stood on that stage.
Well, so the only argument I could see here is like a monkey has to be, can't be put in solitary confinement maybe and gets checked up on. I don't know. But a monkey isn't a criminal, right? They didn't do anything to get put in jail. Can we do with a fucking prison reform? Absolutely. But a monkey didn't do anything.
At that drive-in movie theater during COVID and promised prison and justice reform was just another lie because they ain't done shit.
how many appeals did you file for your current case?
I'm on my fourth one.
How many appeals do you think the average monkey files to get out of his prison?
He has PETA behind him. He has the Humane Society of the United States behind him. He's got more money than any prisoner does.
I want to give Joe the last word because he's our special guest. First time on. Thanks for being with us, Joe. I think that if my timing is right, you might have to leave. If you have more time, we'd be happy to have you. But I do want to otherwise wrap up and at least get to say thank you.
Yeah, again, is Trump or Harris, either one of us, doing good for this country right now? No. You can watch CNN, you can watch Fox, you can blame it on whoever you want to blame it on. Okay, but it boils down to the American public are the ones that have to change the system, and you got to start throwing some of these crooked bastards out of the system. Okay, just like Senator Mendez, Goldbar Mendez. Okay, they're all corrupt. They're all in it for themselves. They don't give a shit about you. Okay, but Harris is not strong enough to keep us safe from China, Russia, and Iran. She just ain't. Okay, you can have all the gay rights, you can have all the women rights, you can have all the rights you want. But when that nuke or another 9/11 happens, don't blame nobody but your voting self for putting a weak person in office to run this country.
So I see what he used because I remember him in his video. I'm talking about the elder millennial now. He was talking about metropolitan areas and micropolitan areas. So he used a single study compared to all he's bad faith, right? He's like, you can't find it anywhere. Go Google it, look it up. No one will tell you there's a housing shortage. It's affordable housing. But he uses a study that came out of University of Kansas. I just found it. Metropolitan areas, micropolitan areas, that addressing housing prices and low incomes are more urgently needed to address housing affordability issues than simply building more homes, the author wrote. But doesn't building more homes drop the price of homes too?
Wow, all right.
My guess is you might have to go. If you have time, Joe, do you have any extra time? We could keep going, but if you do have to go, I don't want to hold you. I think that we have lost Joe, but we do want to say thank you very much, Joe, for making the time. It has been a true pleasure. Thank you to Stephen as well. It has been a true pleasure, folks. Do check out the links of our guests in the description box. Both Stephen and Joe are linked in the description box. We do appreciate both of them. And I want to say thanks so much for tuning in for this mini debate. We will see you with the next one. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button as we are setting up other debates, especially for this upcoming election season. One last thank you to Joe and Stephen. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks a lot.
Folks, stick around. I'll be back in just a moment with a quick post-credit scene. Looking forward to seeing you then.
Cool.
Thanks, Stephen. It's been a true pleasure. I wish we could do it longer, but it's all we got.
I know. It's always a fun time to do random stuff. So
wild.
Okay. Bye.
You bet. Take care. Bye-bye.
The fucking prison debate.
Hold your way.
The prison debate. So another thing I want to talk about that's getting out of hand. Let's go over here. I know where we can find it. If we go to drama alert. So another thing, well, this is the last thing we'll cover. Pedo hunting. First of all, piece of shit right here. Andrew Tate, piece of shit. Pedo hunting is getting way, 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 way out of hand. Okay? Like, hold on. Like they're beating the shit out of people, they're attacking people, and it's just it's becoming too much. Let me see if I can find some of these videos. What the fuck is going on here? I probably need to move this over here while I'm searching through it, so give me just a second. I don't want any nudity pop up. It's like they're just, Vitelli, is that the guy's name? They're just like beating the shit out of people. They're fucking attacking people. Somehow this one happened with fucking, what is even going on?
You might want to sing along with me on this one. Oh, I don't know. You might want to sing along with me on this one. No. You're about to get locked up. They won't let.
Like, what is happening here? Okay. What is happening here? Akon singing Locked Up. There's a bunch of tribal people with spears. What is going on here?
You out. They won't let you out. Locked up. They won't let you out. Oh, they won't. Boy, you about to get locked up. They won't let you out. They won't let you out, man. Locked up. They won't let you out. No, they won't let you out.
Like some stuff's getting pretty extreme.
Sit over there. So sit. Come here.
They fake. They're setting people on fire. They're setting people on fire.
Move. Sit over there.
So what happens is they claim they busted 2 pedos. One of them's a stunt man, and the other guy's waiting for his punishment. And they bring the stuntman in and set him on fire.
Move. Sit over there. Sit over there. So sit. You stupid fuck. You think I'm fucking with you? No. Yo, get the fucking tools. Get the fucking tools. Get the fucking tools. Get the fucking tools. Hold his arm. Hold his arm. I got him. Grab his arm. Stop fucking moving. Light him fucking up. Light him up. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. You motherfucker, you like that? You fucking.
Like, this is getting a little too extreme, right? Like, it's almost becoming like wrestling or something. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on here. They're just attacking people.
Oh shit, no fucking
knocking
way.
People the fuck out.
No fucking way you guys just fucking did that. I hope they follow you, bro, 'cause I got kids, homeboy.
And I know what happened is, like, they did this thing with, like, pedo hunters, right? And so they did that thing with, like, pedo hunters, and it did really good, right? People responded with it well. And each time, this is like the channels that used to do pranks. Like, they did pranks, and they were genuine pranks at first. Then they start doing more pranks, and they gotta top those last pranks.
Bro, stop walking away.
They just slapping people, hitting people, attacking people. None of these people have been convicted. What if for some reason they do have the wrong people? Or none of these people have been convicted. None of these people have seen court. They're just vigilante justice on stream.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I will never, ever fucking do that shit again.
All right, that's better. Stop.
The ass looks like a nice little 50-year-old boy. What the fuck?
Stop. You understand now?
Oh, okay. Leave me alone.
What you mean, ow? Why are you trying to?
Because they don't just turn people into the police department. Because a lot of times they ruin the investigation, or they set it up in a wrong way where it's basically entrapment. And second of all, it doesn't get the ratings.
What's the kid today?
I wasn't. I was gonna turn.
What the fuck you thinking? You trying to fuck a little kid?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
We beat him up. We're trying to take a lift.
You ever gonna meet up
Somebody said call the cops. He said no, we beat him up.
with the child again?
No, ever. I'm so sorry. I will never fucking do this shit ever again.
What's your name? We
Tim.
know. Stop.
Terry.
Stop with the bullshit. I know your name. What's your fucking name?
Terry.
Stop.
Like, I get it. Nobody likes pedos, but should we be beating the fuck out of them and shit like this? Is this gonna work in a court case? Are these people ever gonna see time, or are you gonna get everything just fucking thrown out?
Stay down.
Come on, man. I didn't do anything, bro.
Fuck your up. Listen to the mic, bro.
I know.
Y'all fucking ate it. Yeah, you knew it was gonna happen. You deserve death. Death. You deserve. Man, you wanted to fuck him in the ass, bro.
No, I did not.
Man, you wanted to fuck him in the ass.
They're gonna end up killing somebody.
When the hell did I say that?
Man, I know you want to fuck him in the ass. He looks like a nice little 50-year-old boy. You want to fuck him?
No, bro.
So nervous. Hold him out. Will,
Nasty ass motherfucker. Disgusting.
Hold on.
Nah, bro. Nah, there's no sorry in this shit. This motherfucker deserves death. You're a pedophile, bro.
Keep Italian.
You're gonna drink, motherfucker.
No, come on. Oh, my man.
Drink. Good doggy. Come on.
And yeah, basic human rights. Go to court.
Yo, what?
Make him drink out of a dog bowl for some reason. Watch this. This is fucking.
Cover me, you dumbass motherfucker.
You know how Trump was endorsed by Lil Pump and he called him Little Pimp? This is Lil Pump, the rapper. Like, this is going to get out of hand, and people trying to imitate it, or these people here are going to end up killing somebody.
Because of shit, bro.
Just kicked him right in the fucking head.
Nigga, immigrants look so fucking bad because of shit, bro. Motherfucker, bro. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Stand up.
And once they beat the fuck out of them, they basically got to let them go, right? If they call the cops, they're definitely going to jail for fucking assault.
Better fucking go, bro. I'm gonna kill him, bro.
When the guy's sitting on the couch and you kick him in the fucking face.
It's crazy, bro. Sorry, but I can't. Too much. Where's my book bag? I got it right here. Fucking top guy when you talk over the tech. Nigga, immigrants look so fucking bad because of shit, bro. Motherfucker, bro. Stand up, stand up.
I don't know.
Stand up. Better fucking go, bro. I'm gonna go.
This is all from one streamer, Vitelli.
Independent. I don't know who I'm voting for yet.
But who would you message?
Leading?
Give me a speech. Who are you voting for? Message.
Leading?
Give me a speech. Who are you voting for? Or who do you want to win?
I'm independent. I don't know who I'm voting for yet.
But who would you rather? What do you mean you don't know who yet? Is that a fucking tough decision?
Because I don't know yet. I'm undecided.
Oh, you're gonna decide fucking right now who you're gonna vote for. Read the hat. Read my hat.
Read his fucking hat.
You know what he does with pedos?
You don't fucking laugh at the president.
Okay, I'm voting for Donald Trump.
That's right.
Yeah.
There you go. Good message.
Leading?
Give me a speech. Who are you voting for? Or who do you want to win?
I'm independent. I don't know who I'm voting for yet.
But who would you rather? What do you mean you don't know who yet? Is that a fucking tough decision?
Because I don't know yet. I'm undecided.
Oh, you're gonna decide fucking right now who you're gonna vote for. Read the hat. Read my hat.
Read his fucking hat.
Just fucked up. Like, send him to jail, right? And even if you want to see him get beat or attacked or whatever, that's going to happen in jail.
Another one, baby. Another one, B. This shit. Fucking go, baby.
Stallion.
Another one, baby. Another one, B.
Oh wait, that's not the actual video, is it? Here it is. They shave this guy's head and make him eat spicy food.
Yeah.
That's how you're gonna be taking an ass in prison, boy.
Say sorry to the chat. The chat is mad right now. Say sorry, chat.
Say sorry, chat.
No, confident like a man. Just pretend there's no hot chip in your mouth. Sorry, chat.
Oh, it was the one chip challenge. They made him eat the one chip challenge and shave his head while they beat on him.
Say sorry, chat.
Sorry, chat.
Like, you can't do this shit in war. Like, what the fuck are they doing?
Sorry, chat.
Yeah.
Besides getting views, I guess.
Yeah, you can leave.
Making a ton of money.
Leave. You're not. Yo, by the way, why did you come here with a knife? You wanted to kill her?
No, I always carry one.
Yeah, brother. I don't ever want to see you again. You gonna do this again? Hey, we're letting you go, but you're going to prison. Yeah.
You gotta let go. Listen.
Water, please.
No, we don't want. No water.
Here, take your dick pics too. Oh, your dick pics. You brought dick pics too. Mm-hmm. Come here. Come here.
Understood.
How can you watch this and enjoy it? I don't understand.
Get the fuck out of here, motherfucker.
Another one.
I mean, I guess you could claim they're hiring actors.
Baby. Shit. Fucking go, baby.
Stallion.
There's already been people threatening to sue. There's already been people claiming entrapment. I don't know if any of this will happen. I don't know how the fuck they get away with this, to be honest with you. This is just fucking, unless they're faking it, this is just fucking wild. Having people sign releases, I don't know. This is just crazy. It's fucking insane. I don't condone this. I don't support this. If you're going to catch them, report them to the fucking police. But this, I don't know. I don't even know how people are fucking watching this shit. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being here. I don't know. It's on Kick. He's Russian, but this is in the States. I haven't seen anybody speaking even with an accent, much less not English. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being here. Here is
Kushner and Ivanka.
Here's the video I was talking about a second ago. Oh, no. That wasn't the one I wanted to show you on the end. But here's one. There's one more video I want to show you. Hold on.
A second term for Donald Trump. What will it look like? Secretary of State Jared Kushner.
Jared Kushner and Ivanka Kushner walk out of the White House and months later get $2 billion from the Saudis.
Homeland Security.
What? Sounds like some Hunter Biden shit that they're so upset about.
Taylor Greene.
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
Justice Department Alina Habba.
This is where your taxpaying dollars are going, America.
FBI Director Jim Jordan.
That's as radical as you can get.
White House Press Secretary Laura Loomer.
Trespassing Nancy Pelosi's private residence.
Give me some money to fund my lawsuits.
HHS Secretary Matt Gaetz.
The House Ethics Committee has released a statement into a number of serious allegations, including sexual misconduct.
Elon Musk for whatever he wants.
Go yourself.
No wonder Trump says,
you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
That's from the Lincoln Project. 40 out of 44 former Trump cabinet members will not endorse him again. A second Trump administration will be filled with what is left of the worst MAGA criminals, loonies, frauds, and weirdos. And then the very last video we'll end with here.
Stephanie Grisham.
Trump's former White House press secretary.
I wasn't just a Trump supporter. I was a true believer. I was one of his closest advisors. The Trump family became my family. I spent Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's all at Mar-a-Lago. I saw him when the cameras were off. Behind closed doors, Trump mocks his supporters. He calls them basement dwellers.
I guarantee you this is true, especially now that he's like doing the nod to QAnon and doing Q posts and shit. He doesn't fucking like these people. It's a road to re-election.
On a hospital visit one time when people were dying in the ICU, he was mad that the cameras were not watching him. He has no empathy, no morals, and no fidelity to the truth.
By the way, I don't know what the odds are now, but RFK Jr. has still not officially endorsed Trump. And if you put a $50 bet, we're going to watch this. If you would have put a $50 bet last night or the night before when I was talking about it, so that was on, let's say, the 21st, a $50 bet against RFK announcing before August 31st, it would have turned into 367 if it's after August 31st or not at all.
He used to tell me, it doesn't matter what you say, Stephanie. Say it enough and people will believe you.
Does that sound familiar? Does that seem like a tactic that he's used? It doesn't matter what you say. If you say it enough, people will believe you.
But it does matter. What you says matter. And what you don't say matters. On January 6th, I asked...
She's got the receipts too. She texted Trump's wife and said, should we say, like, we understand you're upset, protesting is fine, but lawlessness and violence is not? No. Do not text that.
If we could at least tweet that while peaceful protest is the right of every American, there's no place for lawlessness or violence. She replied with one word, no.
Why would Melania say that? Should we text out? So this person obviously had access to her Twitter account. Should we text out that while peaceful protest is protected, there's no place for lawlessness or violence? No. This was on January 6th, while cops were being beaten at the fucking Capitol building.
I became the first senior staffer to resign.
This is why I have no respect for any of these fucking people. Between this and the way he treats veterans and talks about veterans or talks about veteran awards.
That day. I couldn't be part of the...
There it is. Do you want to tweet that peaceful protests are the right of every American, but there is no place for lawlessness and violence? No.
Any longer. When I was press secretary, I got skewered for never holding a White House briefing. It's because, unlike my boss, I never wanted to stand at that podium and lie. Now here I am, behind a podium, advocating for a Democrat. And that's because I love my country more than my party.
I think so many normal Republicans are fucking tired of Trump.
Kamala Harris tells the truth. She respects the American people, and she has my vote. Thank you.
When have you ever seen a mass
Stephanie Grisham.
a mass exodus of people crossing party lines to support the opposite candidate? Right? You worked for him. You were in his office. You were part of his cabinet. And a mass exodus of people quit, left, will never endorse him again, and are actually going to the fucking DNC to speak out against him. That's crazy. It's got to tell you something's going on there. And it's not that they're all deep state. They're all the cabal. They just don't want to see him win. Bullshit. He already did it, and he didn't get shit done. He didn't rescue no fucking tunnel babies. He didn't build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. He didn't do shit. I'll never vote for him again. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being here. Hopefully the late starts are over. Maybe we get in here at 8 or 9 tomorrow and get a show going and get some Patreon stuff going again. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me. It's a stress reliever for me. I think I'm going to sleep all fucking day tomorrow. I'm not doing a goddamn thing. Well, I have to take off the trash, but I'm not doing a goddamn thing after that. I'm just killed from the last 2 weeks. But thanks for hanging in there. I appreciate it. Please consider supporting the show. That's how we pay for the thing through donations. What I make at my other job, and disability pays my bills, and we use donations to fund the show. So go to coldbeer.fund if you want to make a contribution. That'd be awesome. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show.
I'm done, number 2. Done.
To call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly.
My boss was so satisfied with the work and the hours I put in and stuff. Not only did she pay my hourly rate, she brought me a bonus. Unless the IRS is listening. Then if the IRS is listening, I didn't get paid at all. It's a volunteer effort. She brought it to me, and it wasn't much, but it was more than I expected. Hell, I'm already getting paid like an hourly rate. But she's like, hey, take the family away from here, go do something. So maybe we'll use it to do something this weekend. Oh, thank you very much. I think a Buy Me a Coffee just came through. I'll go check it.
Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest.
3 6-packs from Michaela Robertson. Fuck Trump. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the donation.
Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some.
Somebody needs to go check on Bert. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Get lit, get the place in the best.
He was right on the verge of his new rental property. And now what? That's been 6 months ago.
I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat.
By the way, that video I just showed you of Stephanie Grisham. People like MTG and Laura Loomer and people, what they're calling her out on is that she's put on weight since she worked at the White House. I would imagine so. Could you imagine the stress of being the press secretary for fucking Trump, dude?
Here we go, I think I started some shit. It's some off, it's about to get lit.
Jesus Christ.
Best, you know that stage is
Have a good night, guys. We'll see you.
up, 'cause you ain't seen nothing yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. It's some off.
Someone said, yikes, have another sandwich, fatty. And then someone underneath that put, yeah, that's a basement dweller.
Seen nothing yet.
Good night, guys.
Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking. He was